This video was made possible by CuriosityStream. When you sign up at the link in the description, you'll also get access to Nebula, the streaming video platform that Wendover is a part of. The United Kingdom has a lot of train stations. I mean, there's one here, 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 and then there are a few others. Now, you'd think, with all these very real train stations, that they wouldn't need imaginary ones. But you'd also think that Britain wouldn't voluntarily vote themselves out of the world's largest trading bloc, and we all know how that turned out. Sometimes they like to spice things up, unless we're talking about food, of course. But let's get back on track. Right here is Newhaven Marine Station. This station does not physically exist. There's no platform, no ticket machine, you can't even buy a ticket to the station. But according to all legal definitions, it does indeed exist. Now, the explanation behind this duality is a bit complex, but for whoever's watched this work of art, it's tangentially related to that. Back in ye old days, when Cosby was cool, MTV played music, and wars were less warm, Newhaven, England was a crucially important ferry port. Of course, back in those old days, tunnels hadn't been discovered yet, so these ferries were the only way to get a vehicle to or from the continent. From Newhaven, ferries traveled regularly to Dieppe, France, and this was a super popular way to cross the channel, but one thing I know about boats is that they're not trains, so how is this relevant to this non-existent train station? Well, it turns out that in ye old days, Newhaven Marine Station actually did exist, both physically and legally. The station was part of the ferry terminal, so this way, one could take the train from London or wherever in the UK and board directly onto the ferry to France, and this was great, and everyone loved this. Until they didn't. You see, eventually they figured out how tunnels worked, and in 1994, the Channel Tunnel was opened. Now one could either take the Eurostar train from London, or, if they wanted their weird wrong-sided car on the continent, one could drive to Dover, load their car into one of these car train cars, ride for 30 minutes, and voila, you're in France. This was great and everyone loved this, except for the ferry people because ferries were now less great and everyone loved them a little less. The number of people using ferries, especially as foot passengers without cars, dropped dramatically, and with that, the number of people using Newhaven Marine Station did too. After all, Newhaven Harbor Station was only a 2-minute walk away, so the only thing Newhaven Marine Station was good for was for those getting on the ferry, and eventually, the ferry terminal was moved to another spot, so there went from being very little reason to use the station to none at all. Throughout the years, service to the station was reduced and reduced and reduced until eventually only one train a day stopped at the station and barely any passengers boarded. Of course, in the US, one train a day would be an improvement for some small towns like Houston, but this is the UK where they haven't yet recognized how hassle-free, quick, cheap, and all-around great highways are. Given the low passenger numbers at Newhaven Marine Station, in 2006, when it was discovered that the canopy over the platform was in disrepair and in danger of collapsing, it was decided that, rather than pay to repair it, it was easier to just close the station altogether. However, in the UK, there's a big difference between physically closing a station and legally closing it. Legally closing a station is a complicated, expensive, and time-consuming process designed to prevent railways from closing unprofitable stations that they're obligated to serve, so often, the railroads will leave a station open even if it only gets a few dozen passengers a year and run only a few trains a week or so. That's exactly what Southern Railway did with Newhaven Marine Station, except the difference was that you couldn't physically get on that train. Once a day, a train would pull into the platform, fulfilling the requirements for serving the station, but fences blocked off access to that platform. The railway company, though, was responsible for both running trains and transporting passengers to the station, so they had to figure out how to deal with that second part. Therefore, they put a sign up giving instructions. One could call a taxi from Newhaven Marine, ride it to Newhaven Harbor, submit the receipt to Southern, and get reimbursement, but in practice, Newhaven Harbor is only a 2-minute walk away, so nobody would ever do this, except maybe the taxi man's wife. In 2017, they took things a step forward and demolished the entire station and the building it was attached to, but as Newhaven Marine was still legally a station, a train would still pull into where the platform used to be once a day. It appears, though, that the story of Newhaven Marine Station might come to an end fairly soon. On January 15, 2020, the first major step towards station closure was initiated as a proposal for closure was posted and a public comment period was opened. So, unless there's some major public outcry about the closing of a station that nobody uses, which I'm definitely not encouraging HI viewers to start, New Haven Marine Station, which no longer exists, will be closed for good very soon. Learning about things that don't exist is all well and good, but what's even better is learning about things that are real. That's why non-fiction documentaries and videos are so good, and the best places to watch those are CuriosityStream and Nebula. CuriosityStream is home to thousands of top-quality documentaries by the big names, David Attenborough, Stephen Hawking, Jane Goodall, etc., while Nebula is home to documentaries and videos by smaller names, like Half as Interesting. Nebula is where we release the documentary we filmed about the construction of the very first airport on one of the world's most remote islands, and it's where tons of other of your favorite independent creators release their big, ambitious, unique projects. The great news is that CuriosityStream and Nebula have partnered so that when you sign up for any CuriosityStream subscription at curiositystream.com/HII, you'll also get a Nebula subscription for free, and all the while, you'll be supporting independent creators.